Hello. Everybody, and welcome to a very exciting Big Brother 22 post HOH eviction episode. Why am I stumbling? Nicole, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastical. How are you today, Eric?
I am doing wonderful. So excited. It was a surprise even to us as we learned tonight that Kaysar was going to be on the episode, which I don't know how true this is because I have a feeling he's around here, Nicole.
I know. I feel like he's there, but he's here, but he's currently doing BB things, but he's not because he's here.
Well, look, we want to say everybody who is watching everywhere, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TV Go, everywhere. You guys like, follow, subscribe. We're still trying to figure out what the best thing to tell you all to do is since you're everywhere. Here, but do all those things. Of course, I can see all of your comments. Nicole is over in TV Code chat. So without further ado, Nicole, I will not steal this from you. Go ahead.
Hey,
intro away.
My friends, we are so super excited. I see you all putting crowns in the TV Code chat for the man, the myth, the legend, the king, the one who sealed your partner's fate. It is Kaysar.
Yay, Kaysar!
Hey. Hello, Kaysar.
Hey,
how are you
everyone.
doing? What is going on,
I'm
Kaysar?
good.
Are you coming to us live from the Big Brother backyard?
No, not. Through the power of Hollywood and TV, that was actually pre-recorded.
Oh.
God.
Yeah, they had to make sure that I wasn't anywhere near those people in the house.
But were you Dr. Will's roommate? Are you in the neighbor's house with him? Is that where you were?
I am not in the neighbor's house. Actually, what Dr. Will was actually renting from me at the time. He was just, he was making it seem like he owned the place, but he was just subleasing.
That is the way it goes with him. That is the way that it goes with him. I love it. I love a Dr. Will. We have so much to talk about on this episode. Kaysar, you did not even get to watch it yet because you're over in the West Coast.
I have not seen it. I saw some spoilers on Twitter, so of course, I had to ruin it for myself. But I have not seen the episode. I don't know what they aired. I'm assuming it turned out okay.
It turned out, here you are, Kaysar, doing the HOH comp, and then there was a lot of you explaining what was going on in this comp. So,
well, that was my comp back in BB6.
Yes, listen, I tell my sister all the time, my favorite quote of, I would argue, all-time Big Brother is, "No, I sealed your partner's fate." And I think it's very interesting. I don't know if this is strategy or not, but we saw them all talking at the end of the episode, and Enzo and Cody were just like, "What? What is this comp? How do you play it? What's happening?" So I'm like, do they really not know, or is this strategy?
Yeah, they're not really good. I don't know. It didn't seem like they're good. They didn't seem like they're good strategists. I think what they have on their side, obviously, is they have the numbers. They're obviously good at competing, and they had their crew way early. Yeah. We can speculate how early.
Day -10.
Day -10. Yeah. So I think that really worked to their advantage. I think if I had 6 people in the alliance, day -10. Yeah. Most of those people didn't even win comps, and so I would have been protected as well. So I could have just glided for the first few weeks, and then they would have been okay. And then when it came time for me to actually win something, I could have probably made a move. But unfortunately, some of us don't have that luxury of being super connected to the BB community early on to ruin the game.
We had a bumpy road, Kaysar. Damn it.
I thought you were going to stop right at they weren't good. I thought you were just going to stop right there. They weren't good. But I mean, what do you think? You know, we have seen so much, Kaysar. Obviously, you came out of the house. I know for me, I loved all of the videos that you were making where, you know, you were trying to shed light on issues and inspire people and help people. Then you've gone on from that, and now you've created a whole vlog series.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, you know, have been asking me. We've gotten so many questions for you. But I think one of just the main things that we've gotten is, out of the people who are left, who are you hoping wins?
You have to pick someone. None of the above is not an option.
I'm just getting the feeling like I want Enzo to win.
Okay.
Because, you know, I think he, you know, I don't want him going back to selling crayons during a pandemic. So that would be good for him, and it'd be good for his family.
Yeah. It would be good. It would definitely be good for us. Were you excited to see Memphis leave tonight?
It honestly, I felt nothing.
I felt a little something. I may have tweeted out, Kaysar, and a lot of people were questioning my tweet. And you were there, so you can vouch. Memphis told us a story in the HOH room about his son, saying when his son was leaving the school one day, he was walking with, you know, Memphis, and he yelled out to his buddies, "Later, assholes!" And
yes, he did.
Said, "I want to say that when I'm evicted," and I saw them bleep him out, so I think he did say it. So my tweet was, in the words of Memphis, "Later, asshole." I made a nod to that.
Oh, well, how befitting. Did he actually? did he end up saying "later, assholes" on his way out this time? Because that would have been good.
I think he did, because I saw them bleep him. So I saw the blur. So I'm assuming that's what he said. I'm hoping
he must have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he did.
So I guess he does, you know, end up keeping his promises in some way.
In some regard. Other promises.
I mean, I have to say, I loved it. I was so happy with Memphis leaving. He's only one of like 3 of the people in that house, or I would say he's really the only one person in that house that I really just didn't care for, because he seemed to make things so personal that did not need to be so personal. You know?
Yeah. You know, I've kind of retired to the idea of certain people are just going to be themselves, and like that's how people deal with things. And I think you'll find that in society, most people are not polished. Most people do not get it right. Most people are like, we're not on the news. We're not running for politics. They don't have all the right things to say. This is a house where people are being themselves, and it's raw, and sometimes it's hard to watch. So, you know, like you gotta just like, I think, change your expectations. That's what I did. You know, I just expect less from people. I think there's certain types of things that I think are a red line, and I just kind of said, look, you know, I get it. We're not polished in certain categories, but that's just, you can't do that. That's just a no-go. Like, now you're being a jerk, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you think certain people like Memphis when they come out of the house? Because I always say give people a second chance. In the real world, it's personal versus game. He has said things in that game that are obviously personal. Do you think he's the type to take accountability when he gets out postseason, or do you think it's going to be more, "Oh no, I didn't mean it that way" type of thing?
Look, that's on that, you know, that individual. So I agree and disagree with what you said from the standpoint of, I don't believe it's just a game. I think this is just, there's a game that's happening, but these are people that are in it, being themselves. Like, nobody's like playing a character most of the time. And I think, but at the same time, I think people do have certain qualities. Like, sometimes people are being racist and don't even know it.
Yes.
Some people are being aggressive and don't even know it. And then some people think things are funny when they're not. And so I think this is sort of a broader issue. If we're going to, and this is something that I apply to, like, you know, general society as well when I'm outside the house, if we're going to be able to like get move on and to the future and to a better, tomorrow, we're going to have to find a way where we can say, okay, you are kind of a shitty person, but we're going to have to figure out how to move forward from here. I think if we start canceling everybody every time someone does something wrong, well, guess what? We're all going to be canceled because there's going to be a time where everybody screws up. And we all know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I was really happy with the segment they showed tonight with Tyler talking to Davon in the jury house. I know you didn't see it yet, Kaysar, but they're having a conversation about, Davon approaching him with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and was it strategy or did you really mean what you were saying? And we got to finally see that moment. I think everybody as a fandom was like, oh, okay. Like once you hear somebody kind of like explain themselves and everything, the whole jury segment was emotional.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yes.
It's a tearjerker.
It was definitely a tearjerker. This is a good point, Kaysar. I see a lot of people across the chats asking you to weigh in on one of the discussions we've had around here a lot this season. Speaking of Devon, her issue with Nicole over game versus personal. Do you feel that anything that happens in the game is game? Or do you think with the Nicole Frenzel and Devon situation that can be not game and it can just be personal? So her asking Nicole, did you flip that vote or did you lie about that? Because I need to know. It will impact me in the real world.
Yeah. I certainly can understand the position that Devon is coming from, and it's a tough situation, right? So because she did come really aggressively towards David, and I think that was probably a bad move. Here's what I have to say: although there's a real, it's a fuzzy line between the game and real life. I think I think being in the house is not normal, right? So.
In no way, shape, or form.
It's just like this bizarro, alternate reality, weird thing, right? So everything, the pressure's mounting. You don't even know what the hell's going on. It's a freaking, insane asylum. So I think to be able to just say, hey, you know what? I expect you to act normally and just tell me the truth right now is probably not always easy to do. And so it's just not going to work out in some cases. So would I have said something? I'd like to think that I would have just said, you know what, this is far bigger than the damn game. So I understand. You have to be able to just suspend the game for a second and go, okay, I hear what you're saying. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me in the butt in the game. But yeah, I did throw the vote. I hope you can respect that I'm telling you, and this is not going to screw things up. Now, Nicole, whether you like her or hate her, she didn't. I think that was just a really tough spot to be in. It's a charged topic, and Nicole's trying to just carry out her game. I don't know what the right answer is, to be honest.
Absolutely. I do want to pivot because I see a lot of people in chat asking about it, because you did watch yesterday's episode, which was, of course, BB Comics. So on a lighter note, which ones were your favorite? Which ones were you like, what's happening here? What were your thoughts on yours? Because yours is one of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah. No, I loved mine. I'm so happy I finally got a comic. That's great.
Yes.
And
right.
yeah, it's just after all of these years. So it's really I think if there's probably several things that came out of the season that I'm really happy about. I think the comic was one of them. So I'm happy I got one. But there were, I feel like the cake, Keisha's cake was pretty good. I feel like they could have done a better job with that one. I'm like, okay, I get it. It was cute. I thought yours were pretty cool too. I didn't understand. You? Yeah, I feel like it was good.
I love mine.
Eric, I think they should have added you in that one.
Yes, Kaysar.
I think that's what made it not as good.
Oh, don't worry, Kaysar. I fixed it. Oh, I have fixed it.
He edited himself into my comic.
Oh, I put myself in one of her little squares, and I'm like banging to get out of the little square. Oh, I put myself.
Okay,
in.
good. I figured you'd fix it. Good.
Oh yeah. I fixed it.
I didn't really understand Danny's. Maybe there was some reference to a previous season that I didn't know.
Yes.
Yes.
So
okay.
Danny was a reference to her husband Dominic's alliance from the season he was on with her, and all four of them, they made an alliance and they went out first, second, third, and fourth. But I feel like it didn't depict Danny. It's kind of like she sense of like, oh, she married into a bad alliance, but it wasn't. I feel like Danny's more than being married to, you know?
Yeah, I didn't really, I think, capture the essence of that person.
Right.
I think there were some, just to kind of like put a cap on this, is like there's some that like nailed it, and then there were some that were like, okay, I mean, I could see it, sure, but it was, I don't know, maybe they struggled with finding that like big thing about them that really shines.
I don't know what that meant.
I didn't either.
A nightmare. I'm confused.
Well, yeah, that one was confusing.
I mean, going back to yours for a second, I mean, clearly they were doing a nice foreshadowing of what was to come tonight on the HOH.
I know. It was fun. I think the whole thing really came together nicely, especially the, I loved the part where the house guests didn't quite understand why they called me king, but maybe they will one day.
Which giving you you deserve to be called king.
You know, I think being king is about knowing how to act at the right time. It's having the right temperament. Yeah. It's making sure being able to make the right choices at the right time, and being able to see around corners. I think lots of people could win comps. That makes you a measly knight. So just don't forget that.
You know what else? You know what else it lets you do, Kaysar? It lets you banish people. It lets you put people into prison, and sometimes one of those the stock things, which if you could help me banish this Nicole to one of those sometimes. Because Kaysar, I don't know how you did it. Did she ask you a million questions too in the house? She's only been here today for like 4 hours, but I think we're on question 300.
It's okay. I like the questions. Yes, she's quite the conversationalist.
She is.
Oh, thank you.
I have to say, there was a lot of people in the chat who said one of their favorite moments, I could not acknowledge it with both of you guys on here, was your storage room when you two both were in there together. We loved that as fans, seeing you guys being like, hey, we got to make this happen. And then, blah, 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 Big Brother. I get it. But in that moment, we were loved.
Just look at that.
Just look at that one moment.
I think there were lots of moments. I think that was one of them for me too. I personally we had some good laughs in the house, yes. Especially when we were talking about, our jobs, and where like the jobs that we felt like got away. And that was like, I think I laughed so hard I cried that day. It was so funny. But there was some good moments in that house.
And one of my favorite moments, when people say to me, Nicole, last year you danced a lot more. I'm like, well, I wasn't there that long. And the only people that danced with me were David and Kaysar. You're the only two I got to dance. Nobody else would get up and dance.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. People were just like so
serious.
It was serious. It was very cliquish.
Yeah.
It didn't make things fun. As soon as like a decision needed to be made, everybody disappeared.
Yep.
And so like nobody ate together that much, it's like that. It was kind of a gloomy season overall, I would say.
Do you feel like it was very different from your first two seasons in that sense? Like the lack of camaraderie. I feel like there was no, let's sit together as a group. Let's have fun I feel like my group last year had a lot more fun together.
No, we unfortunately, and unfortunately, every season I'm on, maybe season with the exception of season 7. Season 6, I was definitely being hunted. I was on the block repeatedly. There's always been a fixation on getting me out, so I don't really have time to have Taco Tuesdays with people.
Because you're king.
I know, it's just always the case.
It's like, it comes full circle.
People get so fixated, like, we have to get this guy out. It's a problem. And so I've never really been able to enjoy like, hey, let's just hang around and have small talk about some stuff. You know, it's like it's just never been a thing. So I'm happy for the house guests that have that ability, that don't have to worry about anything, and all they have to do is think about the next comp. Good for you, but that's never been my game.
I have to say, my favorite moment specifically with you two in that house was when you were up on like the loft and Nicole was explaining to you about, you know, the her fear of birds. And when you said to her, you were like, wait, I don't get it. So you have this fear of birds, but your dad collects bird houses and your house is birthday. I'm like, I'm literally watching, screaming, going, I've had this conversation. I literally tell her every day, your family hates you. And you're just like, does your family hate you? And I'm like, somebody get through to her.
You know, if it wasn't for the fact that everybody looks like each other in your family, I would say you were adopted. And they were just trying to send you a message. But you're clearly not adopted. I don't know what the whole bird thing is and why like you to like birds, or I don't understand it. But was this the first season that came to light? It didn't come out last season that your family collects birds or bird paraphernalia?
It came out that I had a fear, but it didn't come out about the bird houses and the cuckoo clocks and the shower curtains and the bathroom decor, if you will.
Yeah, so that was an important piece, don't you think?
Yeah,
I think I'm going through the process of finding the root of my fear, and just talking to you guys, I was like, oh yeah, I guess we have a lot of bird houses around that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why you have a fear of them. Like I would, if there was like every time the clock strikes, you have like cuckoo clock going crazy. I would be deathly afraid of them too.
I have to say, the first time I was actually in Nicole's house, which it is beautiful. Like, we're not saying, like, in case people are getting it twisted, like, when I say it's like this birdhouse mural, it's like this Art Deco beautiful. Like, the house is beautifully done. But all of a sudden, all of these cuckoo clocks start going off, like, and they're all 5-minute spaced, like they don't all go at the hour. And I'm just standing there in the room, and she's totally fine. I'm like, you're a liar. I'm like, you're not afraid of birds.
She says she's not afraid of fake birds.
Yeah.
But,
Thank you for listening when I speak.
I do listen. So what I want to know is, why haven't you done like a video or Instagram story on that moment? Because I think I would like to see that firsthand. As it happens, right? That's like really interesting.
I will do. I'll tag both of you in it, so you can be a part of this bird showing journey.
I think you should superimpose my face on one of the woodpeckers that are coming out of that cuckoo clock or whatever the hell it's called.
That would be very funny.
I'll just like come out of it.
Yes, I would love that. That is the thing. You could market that. I think we should make cuckoo clocks of all the Big Brother people.
Yes.
That's great. I agree with that.
New comp, instead of BB comics, it's BB clocks.
Yeah. Oh. And everybody's cuckoo.
And everybody's cuckoo. Exactly. Trademark Kaysar for this. Look, we're not gonna be but Kaysar. Kaysar wants things to happen. makes them happen. I want to ask you quickly, Kaysar, how has this, you and the recording, the vlogs and all of that stuff going? Like, are you just enjoying doing it? Is it, I saw a little bit of your behind the scenes where you're like, wow, this is hard to be the producer, director, content, which we totally get. But I know people would probably like to hear you speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? First and foremost, I want to thank you because you, Nicole put me in touch with you, and you were so helpful in answering some questions, because I had some questions around how this is done, and I know you have some background in putting on this production, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
and I think there's a difference between like maybe sitting behind your desk and then talking and maybe saying, hey, so here's what I'm using. This nail polish and this blush, and I'm having a sandwich, and this is who sponsored it. And it's like being able to tell a story that's meaningful is a lot of work. And so I told myself, like, if I was going to embark on this journey, I wanted to add value and not just ramble on about some things, right? So I think everybody has their format. For me, I wanted to make sure if I'm going to spend time out of my busy day to do something and give back, I wanted to use this forum to be able to tell a meaningful story. And, at the end of the day, I'll tell you, the reason why I'm doing this is because I think we have a serious problem today where we're no longer engaging in positive and productive modes of communication. I think we're shouting past each other. I think we are not getting into really digging into the right topics. We're not solving problems. Everybody's just enraged all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good look. And I think we're better than that. So I told myself, like, it's very timely. It's part of the reason why I came back on the show. I wanted to continue to do good work. And so I decided, what better way than to control my destiny and control the message than to have a vlog. And so I got really excited about that. And I decided to kick it off on YouTube.
And I will just say, I think that, yes, obviously we are seeing it a lot this season in the Big Brother community, but and I'm sure I speak for Kaysar when I say this too, we see all the people out there that are doing good as well, because there are a lot of people that also, do, I think, we say stuff like that sometimes, then people message us, or they're like, we do a lot of good. Why do you always say it's everybody? We all know it's not everybody. We know that there are definitely some of you guys, some of us, there's probably a majority. I feel like it's just the negative people are the loudest.
That's what I was going to say. Negativity is very, very loud. And that's why, Kaysar, you're somebody I respect so much in the community, in the reality realm, because you're a class act and you voice kindness and you voice forgiveness and you voice the topics that we should be using our platforms for, and the more important things that people should be listening to. Because you're saying, it is so important that we listen more and less and speak less. So many people just spewing and not listening, and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, definitely people are doing work. That's great. I think the problem is it doesn't get projected and amplified in the same ways that a lot of the madness and the chaos does, because that's what media and traditional media end up picking up, because it gets eyeballs and ratings. And so the economics in the way that they work is that's what people are going to see more often. And unfortunately, sometimes it's not a reality. And what ends up happening is you end up projecting that and it manifests itself, and it becomes a reality over time. Yeah. So I think we need to just get back to a better state, a better normal. And I think, look, for me, the reason why I don't get caught up in oh, can you believe what so-and-so said about you? Or, hey, what are you gonna say about what was done on BB this season? Without offending anybody, I don't care that much, to be honest. And here's why. I think we have much bigger problems to deal with. So the reason why I came on the show is not to get into squabbles with people about, who left the milk out and who said what to whom. And I think some of those things are serious. So for instance, if someone mistreated Davon is a serious issue.
Right.
But what I'm trying to get to is people like Davon are getting mistreated all the time.
Yep.
Every day. And that's the issue I want to tackle. So, like, let's get to that instead.
Yeah.
And so I don't care about your politics. If you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're neither. Let's move past that. I'm not really trying to get into those squabbles. I'm trying to get past it and be productive.
Yeah. It's so true, too, when you're, like, watching the show and you get so frustrated at people for a game move or whatever it may be. And look at, like, yesterday's episode, and then Cody's talking about his girlfriend, you know, having cancer. Christmas is talking about her mother having had cancer. And I kind of sat there, and it reminds you, like, life is so much bigger than literally a game, literally a TV show. Like, there's so much more going on in this world that's so much more important.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's crazy because, you know, people who have been on the receiving end of being demonized and vilified and outcasted should know better than to do the same to others. And so I promised myself I'm not going to be the very thing that I dislike. So I don't do that. Now, I might disagree with you a lot, but at the end of the day, as leaders, as people who want to be on the forefront of doing the right thing, we have to inspire people to be better, to not do the wrong things, and to make better choices, especially if we have a problem with who they are right now.
Right. I think it's great. I mean, I think those are the people that I'm drawn to post a Big Brother season. I get people go on for different reasons, whether it's to be Instagram famous or start a podcast or, you know, whatever people's things are for going on. I always find myself drawn to the people that are using their platform for good postseason. And there are so many that are. And that, you know, is a huge reason why I think a lot of us love Big Brother, is to see what people do with it after, honestly. I know that Kaysar has to go in soon, but we got so many questions. I want to just try and take a few of them quickly. There is one from Life After Neverland, which really you've got it from tons of people right now, but I'm going to take it from Life After Neverland that says, Kaysar, is there anyone that you would have liked to have seen on this season of All Stars that wasn't cast? So is there anybody that you were like, ooh, I wish that they were in here to play along with this season?
Yeah, I think there are so many people. Look, I think there are people who are big characters and who played excellent games. You know, notwithstanding like any politics or anything that's happened, like with this whole, you know, pre-game shenanigans that has created controversy, which may or may not have happened. I'm not going to comment about that. But let's just say, you know, I would have liked to see some formidable opponents, like a Derek and a Dan. Obviously, Will is always, you know, an interesting character who plays an incredible game. We haven't seen him play for a long time. It would be interesting to see what his gameplay looks like, you know, these days. So I think there's so many people like this. Like there's it's a long list. You know, Paul is, you know, is a strong player. He's made it Final Two twice. His social game carries him, and so everybody has like their superpower. It's so interesting to see. Like I would love to see a very dynamic group of people come together, and I think that's what makes the game so incredible to watch.
Right.
And so you would hope that, you know, like people don't, you know, screw it up by talking to each other beforehand, because you know, we owe it to the fans. Like this is what it's about. At the end of the day, Big Brother is a business, it's an establishment. They want to keep the integrity of the show. Yep. They put a lot of time and money. There are people that are working behind the scenes 24/7 on this thing to make sure that it goes on without a hitch. And they turn around post production in like a day. This is one of the most grueling and difficult shows to be on and to produce. So I hate to see like people being like not having integrity or not really being appreciative of those things, you know? So it's like, I would say, and the reason I'm saying that is like, not only do I want to see people who are like awesome at the game play, but I think people who are appreciative of what the format is to be able to just come in and
NDA means.
Look, Kaysar, I said here was my idea right away. I mean, regardless of where people fall on this, and this is me speaking for myself and no one else in the show, we saw several times that people on those feeds said, oh, when I talked to this person, or they hooked us up, or blah, 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 blah. What I want to see happen, just because I'm super shady, let's say one of those people win. I want Julie to take out the $500 check, and I want her to be like, congratulations, like you did it, and hand them the check. And then when it comes back from commercial, I want her to go, oh, but one more thing. Look at this clip and this clip where you said this, and this. That's against your contract. We're not going to sue you. Don't worry. We're just taking this check back.
And then people who didn't break their NDAs.
Or give it to like charities and good stuff like that. Then I just want Julie to look in the camera and go, so take note, future seasons. If we won't tell you, like we won't stop you, but we'll know and you won't win. Good night, everyone.
Wow. You know what? I think I've been racking my brain to try to figure out how to like prevent this from happening in the future.
That's how.
And you're good.
I know.
I think
Eric's got it.
I was scared for a second when I was looking at you discussing how this would go down. Yeah.
But Kaysar, regardless of all that, we're left with who we're left with. And we have a Cody, an Enzo, a Nicole, and a Christmas. You said you want Enzo to win. Who do you want next to him? Who do you want third place? Who do you want bumped out next? What's the order?
I think in order for Enzo to win, I think there needs to be a series of events that takes place.
Yeah.
So I think Cody cannot be sitting next to Enzo. I think that Christmas could be, and Nicole could be. So I think it really doesn't matter between Christmas and Nicole. I think Enzo probably stands to gain a lot more, and I think they know that if they were sitting next to Nicole, because I don't think Nicole has done much this season. Mm-hmm. So that's probably who he has set his eyes on taking to the end. If he knows what's good for him, if any of these people know what's good for them, they would probably make sure that Cody leaves.
Mm-hmm. And that's what chat's saying too. Chat says Cody wins over everybody if he's in those final two chairs.
I agree. I mean, look, it's hard to quantify, like gameplay and like when people are maneuvering and who's doing what and who positioned who to do what and say what and like all those things. It's easier to quantify. I won this comp this week. I did that the other week. So there has to be like these major events, and then people can say, you know what? Yeah, that's easy to really understand. And so I'll agree with that. So I think for those reasons, it's an easy sell if Cody was to make it to the end.
Yeah.
Now, what if Enzo brings crayons?
Yeah, exactly.
Then it's an easy sell.
Yo, I'm selling crayons. I don't want to sell any crayons. I got to feed the family.
Yeah, I just got to do a lot. I see a great question from Jackie Knows. She says, Kaysar, you are so positive, and now you have all these new vlogs and things coming out. What do you ask of your listeners? Do you give them challenges or tasks? How do you encourage them to spread positivity?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm a designer by trade. That's how I got into my craft. And then I eventually went into product, which is in the technical space. We build applications.
Right.
And then now I lead a team at a biotech company that deploys technology. But the reason I say that is because there's actually a design methodology that we start with. And it's always about answering the why. And the why really comes from really trying to understand people, right? And being empathetic. So empathy is at the root of all things when you start to solve problems, whether it's for yourself or for the society that you live in. Mm-hmm. So I always start with the why. I always try to understand, well, you know what, okay, this person's an asshole, but why? Or this person's making bad choices, or he's rude to me, or she's rude to me. Why? And, you know, sometimes it takes me to a place where it's like, they didn't have a good upbringing, or they don't know any better, or they've never met somebody like me. And so I try to rationalize, and some people don't like that. They're like, there should be no excuse for the way they act. Well, you know what? They're that way. And so you're going to have to deal with it, or we're going to have to find a path forward. Yep. So I would say, I think, generally speaking, if we're going to be all, need to find a way to coexist with one another, we have to figure out the common spaces through whys, answering the whys, understanding the whys, and through sincere empathy. So when you're going into conversations, stop trying to figure out how you're going to win this conversation and start to listen as to what this person is trying to tell you and why they're saying those things, and try to figure out how are we going to move past this together.
Right.
I love that.
I love it so much. And we love you so much, Kaysar, around here. We know that you have to get going.
But
what
I look like I'm in like the red light district.
I know. I keep trying to change it. I've been like slowly adjusting your brightness as it's been going. But what do you want to say to your fans, Kaysar? Obviously, we're going to put all of your socials below this video and link to everything you're doing. But what is there anything that you want to say to your fans that are here right now?
Look, if you like what you've seen so far, if you've been following me since season 6 or just this season in 22, one of the things, what I stand for. I stand for doing good work. But more importantly, being a productive member of society. Let's all do this together. I don't care what your positions are, and how what party you're affiliated to or whatnot. So none of these things matter. I think at the end of the day, a lot of us want the same things, and so I think follow my story on Instagram. We'll figure out ways to move forward. I think if we can't work together side by side, at least let's inspire each other from a distance. And that's the most important thing.
I love it. Well, you guys don't go anywhere. We're just going to remove Kaysar, and then Nicole and I will be right back to get more into tonight's episode. Unless, Nicole, any final thought from you? I didn't want to not give you a final thought.
My final thought is his comic was King Kaysar, and that's obviously for a reason. Both in that game, you're an absolute legend, and in real life, you are a stand-up, amazing human being, and I think more people should take note.
Yay. All right,
thanks, guys.
Everybody stay right there. We will be back in 30 seconds. Okay, I'm just trying to, we're back. I'm just trying to get us back into a better position quickly. I gotta say, I just for you and I to say that I don't know what was happening. I kept trying to adjust. I have to acknowledge it now for the people that are watching.
Was it me?
No, it wasn't you at all. I kept trying to adjust Kaysar's brightness, and for some reason there's some bug in this program, so that's why like your video would circle, like your video would go, okay, hi, here's Nicole's picture, I'm going for a lap around, and then come back. But here's the thing, everybody,
always the picture of Nicole F behind me.
It is because you know what, who doesn't love a Nicole?
And Christmas too. Imagine they were the final 2. You've been predicting it all season.
I know. So, hello again, everyone. Of course,
yes,
Nicole and I just want to talk a little bit more about tonight's episode. We were so glad, Kaysar said, I got the show tonight. Obviously, he's doing all of the stuff over there. He has not even watched it yet, but he was like, I so badly would want to come on. I want to talk to you guys and love it. So I'm so glad that he was able to come on here for 45 minutes and chat with us.
He is such an incredible person. I know. I mean, obviously everybody sees it. Like I was reading chat the whole time, even though I didn't comment. I was reading chat the whole time, and
TV chat.
He speaks from the heart, and he is very genuine, like he was saying, very empathetic, and that's what I resonate with, and that's what I respect, and I just adore him, absolutely adore him.
He's amazing. I think he's definitely amazing. And all of your questions, just so that you guys all know, Kaysar will be seeing your questions that you are leaving. We've been collecting them all, so don't worry. I was just trying to give the ones that I felt the most people were asking. I have a feeling we're going to see Kaysar back around here real soon. I almost wish he didn't say that he talked to me about those vlogs. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Aw, that was so nice of him, though.
He's the best. So
that's what I mean. Like, he's real.
Look, here's what I want everyone to take away from this. We had a lovely conversation with Kaysar. It's all about the good in the world. Everyone knows that Nicole and I do a lot for mental health awareness and charity and all of that stuff. So good hugs all around everyone, right? Right? We're all on the same page. Nicole, that asshole Memphis, was finally evicted tonight.
I know.
Bye-bye, Memphis. See you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on your way out.
I said at one point I would strip and run down my block if he was evicted.
Yeah, well.
I might have to create like an OnlyFans for that.
Nope. Considering you're one room away in my house, there's a strict ban on all of that. There is a ban on stripping here.
Oh, frabjous day, Kalu Kalei, he chortled in his joy. Listen, I saw my comic yesterday, and life was good, and I was like, Christmas and Memphis are on the block. I don't know if life can get any better.
Yes. I mean...
Bye, Memphis! Like, I get it. He's a human being, and I love all human beings, but in that game... Toodle fucking Lou.
Toodle fucking Lou. ICSP over on YouTube says, Nicole, when you were in the house, did you want to make an alliance with Nicole F so you could mess with people's minds? Like when you said Enzo voted for David and he can't vote out a Nicole. I'm confused. Does that make sense?
I'm not really sure what the question is, but I will say I wish that me and Nicole, and this may have happened had I stayed, but me and Nicole worked together and created a final two. Because how cool would that be to be like the Nicoles? What's your alliance name? The Nicoles. It's think about it. There's only 16 people on.
Oh, I've thought about it.
And two of them, and I grew up with not a lot of Nicoles in my graduating class. So here we are, 2 out of 16 of us are Nicoles. Imagine us final two chairs. Ba-bam.
Yeah. I was trying to find something is so weird about my Insta stories, which I learned to make when pretending to be Nicole this season. And for some reason now, some of them are just missing from my little bubble.
So while you're searching for that,
I
will say a part of me kind of wanted Enzo to vote the other way and have Nicole break the tie, because this way it'd be like a Memphis blindside and a Nicole blindside, and then everybody be blindsided, and they gotta go out and play a very amazing comp. I don't know. It was just, this was fabulous. This was fabulous. And he walked outside and he was like, oh, I'm so shocked. Here's a thought, Memphis. You nominated Nicole F next to David. You could have sent her. I mean, granted, David was targeting him as well, but I can't wait to see the jury's reaction to him walking in, because I really think they're not expecting to see him.
I give up. There are still parts of Instagram I don't understand. You'll have to show me how to find those. They are the best. It was relevant to what we were saying. I was going to show people.
In your archive.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So you and Nicole Frenzel were on the hammock.
Mm-hmm.
And you two are just laughing and talking, and I did all of these mashups these seasons of stuff from the feeds, and you guys are like, we could be the Nicoles. And then there's me filming it, and I'm throwing bombs on you guys. I'm sawing the hammock, and then I'm just yelling at the feeds, and I'm like, make the Nicoles happen.
That was a really nice moment. I will say, I understand how she's perceived by the community. I understand some of the things she said and done. I understand it. But even in a house, I had moments where I was like, and then that hammock conversation, I'm like, she can be very sweet.
I don't like the hammock conversation because it's the conversation that made me realize I like Nicole, or I will say at least I respect her, because what I was prepared for her to do, I just thought none of the stuff she was saying to you on that hammock was sincere, and I was waiting for her to walk away and just talk shit about you, which again, by the way, doesn't bother me because it's a game.
Yes.
But when she walked away from you and then under her breath, she was like, I really like her. She's a great person. I was like, oh, I think I like Nicole Frenzel now.
That's so sweet. Which,
I know.
By the way,
I know it's a hot topic. Go ahead.
Hot topics. Talking about people that kind of throw shade and stuff. I saw a lot of people. I'm like an influencer. A lot of you have been asking. A lot of you have been tweeting about Enzo's comment during comics, and then the Memphis Christmas conversation. So I think you and I should have this discussion right now.
Nicole really blew my mind today, everyone. Nicole saw my tweets that I've been putting out, or that the podcast has been putting out. And she was like, you understand what's happening, correct? Now, I think that maybe I need to say these things. So,
I could say it in a broad sense.
Okay, go ahead and say it in a broad sense. Go ahead.
Don't.
Okay, in a broad sense, tell me, let's start with Enzo. A lot of people were messaging us saying that they were, oh my God, did you see that Enzo say he would never do your podcast? And Okay, so go ahead and explain it, because this was news to me. It is rare when you can tell me something I don't know about Big Brother, and I actually did not, or I just didn't realize I didn't know it. So go ahead.
So after BB Comics, as with any competition, we all go in the DR and we talk about the competition and our experiences with it and whatnot. And two very specific things that I remember are after Zingbot, we go in the DR and we talk about each of the Zings. And it's for instance, perfect example, last year with Zingbot, he made fun of Nick's hair. And, they prompt you in the DR. So the DR was like, Nicole, what are your thoughts on the Zings? So I went through a couple. They were like, well, what about Nick's? And I'm like, it was all right. They're like, Nicole, what are your thoughts? And I was like, oh gosh. I go, I can't say it because I'm his friend. I'm not going to say it. And they're like, no, just say it. And I was like, it's true. His hair was horrible. And I laughed. And apparently they used that. So same thing after comics. What they have you do is they give you a card with all the comics on it. You look at it and you go down the line. So they'll be like, oh, Nicole, you saw, Eric was the recapper with a bunch of hats. What are your thoughts? And you talk about it. And you go down the line each one. And they want a funny soundbite. They want something where you're dissing the person. That's the joke, the diss. That's part of Big Brother. So with the BB Comics, if you look at mine, the podcaster, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's a comic book cover, which is supposed to be like a hero or a villain. And my shtick is I am speaking into my microphone and I'm kind of like a siren. I'm entrancing all these people to come to me. Bring me your money, your bags of money, because you all know how many bags of money I have. Give me your listening ears. Come to me. I'm calling you in. So Enzo in the DR is saying, I love Nicole A. Thank you, Enzo. But he says, but that's one podcast I wouldn't listen to. And I honestly think he's referring to production saying to him, well, look at the podcast cover. She's pulling people in, kind of like a villain, like a siren. And I bet his reaction was, ooh, that's one podcast I'm not listening to. Because then right after he goes, no, that sounds mean. I'll listen to it. The episode I'm on, I'll listen to. So that to me sounds like a production prompt, because that's what they do with Zings. That's what they do with comics. They prompt you to give your honest feedback, and they'll be like, oh, well, if you assess it this way, what are your thoughts then? And
we get it.
Oh God, I don't want to get caught up in that. It's a joke.
Right, because they're making a show and their storylines and all of that. So, yeah, once you explained it to me like that, because I think it's easy for us to dismiss the things they say in between. Honestly, and now we'll get to the Memphis thing. If you saw the clip that the Hello Friends Twitter account tweeted out, and special thanks to Chubby Bunny, who sent me that clip to tweet out. But I missed a lot of specific nuances in that conversation that a lot more people were upset about, where it was Memphis talking to Christmas and him basically, well, why don't you say it, because you said it perfectly.
So Memphis is talking to Christmas and he says, I have a certain sense of humor that won't be received well. So it's kind of like, okay, why are they talking about senses of humor? Keep in mind what I was saying about the DR and Zings and comics. And he said, like, for instance, Nicole A's podcast. Are you going to listen to Nicole's A podcast? Okay, where's that question coming from? Think. So are you going to listen to Nicole A's podcast? Memphis is saying his sense of humor is, I'm not listening to that shit. But it's not received well, so he can't say that because it won't be received well by the outside world. So my take on that is, in reflecting on the comp and reflecting on the comics, production probably said, okay, let's go down the line comic by comic. Got to mine and was probably like, oh, what are your thoughts on Nicole's? And maybe he was like, I don't care. And they're like, no, really? It's about her podcast. Would you listen to it? And Memphis, being Memphis, was like, I'm not listening to that shit. And that's his sense of humor. So I think he was relaying that exchange to Christmas.
No, it's very clear. When you go back and like, I almost feel bad. I mean, the podcast should feel bad. I don't know why I feel bad. We are not in control of what the podcast reads. It has a life of its own. But it's so clear to me. I remember when I first listened to that, I was like, wow, what an asshole to just out of the blue stand up and be like, I'm not listening to your shitty podcast. But then once Nicole explained to me that, I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. He's not just shitting on the podcast out of the blue to shit on it. He's saying, I have a sense of humor that people probably don't like. Yes. Here's an example. The DR asked me what I think, and my reply was, I'm not going to be on that shitty podcast. Ha 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 ha.
Yes. Which, yes, the podcast has a mind of its own, and it may have cursed out Enzo. It may have cursed out Memphis. Yeah. But let's be real here for a second. As sarcastic and silly and sassy that the podcast can be, Eric, you and I are the podcast, and if I didn't use certain things against people in a game, I'm not going to use it against them in real life. So, for instance, with the whole Danny Nicole, we ghosted the podcast. I didn't use that toward game. So them making jokes in a DR or talking about them in the DR about the podcast, that doesn't really bother me. Come out into the real world and say it to my face. Then I will believe you, and then I'll tell you to F off.
Right. I don't think any of them would say it to your face, though.
Because does Memphis really have a choice?
Oh, yeah. By the way, Memphis, see you later, buddy. By the way,
funny.
I know one episode of, at least Enzo was honest, there's at least one that he'll listen to, and I have a feeling there's one you'll listen to ours. By the way, everyone, I know I've been very serious on all of the exit interviews that I've done so far. I actually kind of have a funny idea of what I want to do for the Memphis interview. So even if you don't like Memphis, hopefully I'll be able to do it. It's going to be one of the exit interviews that you've wanted to watch. And I see some people saying, where do we find them? The exit interviews are only in the TV Co-app, which is completely free. Of course, we've also tweeted out the links. You can watch it on any internet browser as well if you can't get the app for some reason, but they are only in the TV Co-app. But I've interviewed all of the pre-season house guests, I guess, except Ian is my point. But
Bailey and Ian, yep.
Bailey and Ian. Well, Bailey is very hard to. She is doing so many things, and
she is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not shade. There are just things that I know that I'm afraid to say anything because I don't want to ruin it. So just like, look, we talked to Bailey. I'm sure Bailey's coming. Just trust me. She's very busy. And I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah.
I am so afraid I'm going to say, like when you know the things you can't say, and I'm like, oh,
stop talking.
I know. Why do I keep talking? I can't stop talking. It's my problem. There is one last thing I will say about the comic. And then we have a few questions. I know you're not going to be able to really, because somebody just, they were confused about the Kaysar thing. You can go and watch it. It's exclusively on the TikTok. And I'm not teasing you. I'm not going to make you. You're just not going to be able to hear it. But here is what I was like explaining with Kaysar. So if you see, I have Nicole saying funny things. And then there's me up in the box trying to get out. And there's a lot of funny things that are happening. It becomes the Podmaster's reality recap. So check it out on TikTok. It's very funny. I know
it's very well done.
I know a lot of people think we're just dancing over there, but I do a lot of the Big Brother mashups over there and stuff too. So you should check it out. It's fun, Nicole.
Yes.
Listen.
I just realized an idea I had for TikTok came into fruition tonight, so I need to get on that.
Well, they need to go to My Reality Recaps TikTok and like the comic. It only took like 7 hours.
I know. I'm very proud of you. It came out. It's one of my favorite things you've done, actually. It's one of my favorite things. I love it.
Okay, so listen. KHN over in the YouTube chat says, Nicole, do you want to or hope that all 16 house guests from this season become friends when this season of All Stars is over? Do you even know, Nicole? Because you want me to answer for her? She's going to say yes. Spoiler alert, she's going to say yes. Nicole?
Yes, my answer is always yes. Here's the thing. It goes back to what Kaysar was saying. I very firmly believe that life is very easy, but people make it too hard. Yes, life is hard and some people make it too easy, but life is easy and people make it hard. You could be friends with everybody. Just be nice to each other. Like Kaysar said, it doesn't matter your like religious beliefs, political beliefs. You could still be kind to one another. So my whole thing is I'm willing to be friendly, friends, best friends with any and everybody in that house. I mean, some need to, hopefully heal and better themselves more so than others. But absolutely, I'm up for all the friends in the world. I'll take any and all of them.
Yeah. And by the way, like, I also think it's totally okay in life, just on a mental health tip. You don't have to get along with everyone in this world. You don't have to like everyone. That's okay. I always say the same thing. I always wish for all of you guys to be friends postseason, because for me, in my belief, the game is a game and it is a game and it's not real life. And at the end of the day, understand that there's real life issues that are brought into that game. But at the end of the day, it is still a game and not real life. So my hope is always that when anyone gets into the real world, they try and make amends or right wrongs or to fix the things that they can now in the real world where, like Kaysar said, it actually matters.
Yes, and I believe that 100%. That's why I say, like, I'm willing to be friends with any and everybody. I think and all of you watching know me well enough where I'm not the type to poo-poo somebody who wants to be friends or reject somebody who's trying to grow and be better or turn my ears away from someone who needs a listening ear. So I'm open to everybody, but at the same time, what I will say, what I am learning now being a year out of my first season, having gone back into it, very different dynamic in All Stars, obviously, because people exist in the real world prior to entering the house. The friendships anyway. What I will say, it reminds me a lot of like high school or college where you're really, really close with people, and then you graduate and you may be closer to others and you may distance from others. And that's my thing too, even if I'm not best friends, come over my house and have a picnic tomorrow with certain people, I still appreciate them from afar. I'm still friendly, from a distance. And I think that's important too. It reminds me so much of like high school, college, because you just go down different paths and sometimes you just have different lives than people.
Yeah. And It is what we make it. It is what we make it. I see Susie Q says, "Hi, Eric. I wish you had Super Chat in here. I miss you." I'm not sure what Super Chat is, but I can see your plain old regular chat, and I love it. Thanks for watching over on YouTube. The feeds are still filled with puppies. Says Knights of Light official over on YouTube. What is happening in the TV Code chat, Nicole?
TV Code knows that I love them with all my heart, and then I get very distracted. But we have a lot of people asking. I see Whatever You Say is asking, and Kellum is asking, who won HOH? Do we have any spoilers? We don't have anything yet. But I'm actually really excited for that comp. Like if I could teleport to one comp, that's a lie, because I would have teleported to OTEV and BB Comics. But if I could teleport to a third comp, actually I've already seen OTEV, I've already played BB Comics. So if I could teleport to one comp, it would be Night Moves. That is incredible. That is one of the most monumental Big Brother moments. Any Big Brother fan, even if you didn't watch the seasons, you know that moment. That comp and Kaysar saying, "I've sealed your partner's fate." That is like the epitome of Big Brother. So I would love to play that. And that goes back to my original question. Like, do Cody and Enzo not know that? Like, are they just being like, "What is that?" Like, are they still trying to play like dumb?
Clearly.
Or
yeah, I don't think they know.
And I get evicted week 2, and I would literally walk outside and cry if I saw that.
You walked out and cried.
But I'm always crying.
Yeah, you don't need a reason.
No. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And how are none of them excited to see Kaysar? Like, he popped on the screen. I'd be like, this is cool.
Would you be? I mean, I don't mean would you be you as you, Nicole. I mean, would you be knowing that you're those people who were trying to get him out from day one?
This is valid. But yes, I see Chris Bella asking, what is the Night Moves HOH? So, it was played back in BB6, and what it is a checkerboard, and each person picks a square to start on, and you're able to move in the L shape. Which one is that? Which one moves in the L shape? Is it a knight? Is that why it's called Night Moves? It makes sense, Nicole. So, you're allowed to move 2 squares and 1, or 1 square and 2, and when you land on a square, you pick it up and it's out of play. So everybody keeps on taking turns, you make your moves, and then it's out of play. I think they also played it actually in BB16.
I feel like it was a version of it, but not really.
Which is interesting. But it's a knockout comp, so you keep on making your steps and be strategic because you want a certain person out of the comp. Like, technically, Cody and Enzo could play it in such a way to knock out Christmas if that's what they want to do. So it's a really fun comp to win, especially if it's
Sorry. I'm just trying to imagine the world where Enzo and Cody are smart enough to play like human chess and work together to move people out. What is he going to yell at the pieces?
But you need to remember, I'm thinking back to like Kaysar, Janelle, when they had it mapped like 4 steps ahead, and they cornered her, and that was it. Like, it was done, and like maybe Enzo. I don't know, but it's a really cool comp to watch. If you, I sound like I said comp to watch. It's a very cool comp to watch if you see it unfolding, and it's done very, very well.
Right. What was the other question that I was going to ask you? I said I was having the, hold on, I'm having the phone up.
And?
I am waiting on an answer of how I want to guess about tonight's HOH. I might guess before we're done, which we do need to wrap it up soon. But do you have more things that you need to read from chat?
Hold on.
Or
oh gosh.
I thought go ahead.
Yeah, I did, and then I got like yes, it was knockout. That's why Christmas was sick when she saw it. Exactly, Donuts. Exactly. That's the thing. If she knows it's knockout and she knows them two are very close, she's probably like, oh shit. Which goes back to my original statement back when Memphis and her were on the block. technically Christmas, and I don't mean to use the term underdog, but Christmas is like the underdog right now. We have these three that are so tight, and Christmas. So not that I'm like rooting for her, because I do want to see an Enzo win. There's that like underdog part of me that's like, oh, come on, Christmas, don't let the three of them gang up on you. Like, you can get one of them out this week. It all comes down to veto, really.
Yeah, it 100%. I think from here on out, it is all POV. I mean, I don't think, I know for a fact. Here on out, it is all POV wins. So I would say, I'm so torn at who I want to win at this point. I'm sorry, I was getting distracted because there are so many questions.
See, whatever you say, she is an underdog and I'm rooting for her now. That's what happens. Viewers love an underdog. It doesn't matter if you've been pissing them off all season. When you're outnumbered, people don't like it. Even if you're the alliance, if Cody, Nicole, and Enzo were rooted for since day one, there's still that moment of like, ooh. But like, so I do understand that sense of like, oh, Christmas. Like, it sucks when you realize like you're not in a good spot. Like, I always think of, when we were in, what was it? Final Five. And I won my HOH basket. And I give so much respect and credit to Tommy, because my sister always tells me this. He was inside room. Christy was just evicted by me. And here I am celebrating my HOH basket. And he was like, you know what? No. I'm going to go out there and celebrate with Nicole because I respect her. And just like, he knew that feeling of like, oh no, they just got rid of Christy. They're probably at 4. And like, and after talking to him about it, it's a very scary feeling. So like, I can't help but like look at Christmas and go like, oh, that really sucks.
Yeah, that does. That definitely sucks. I see there are people in the chat. I'm so confused, and I should. I can't switch to another tab. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I should add. There are a bunch of people asking. This is just basically what it says, but I'm just telling you I can't confirm this because I can't open Twitter. It says Janelle posted on Twitter that the only people invited on her girls' trip in Nashville from this season of All Stars is Bailey and Devon. What happened to Nicole A. and Keisha?
I don't know. I'm not in charge of. I'm not the one inviting.
I'm not the one inviting either. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that.
That goes back to what I was saying. Everybody's entitled. Like, just live your best life. I know my truth. I know my heart. I know who I love and respect and appreciate from afar. And if that's going to be from afar, that's perfectly fine with me. And I respect that as well, that someone's not fake or attacking. It's just okay. And if that's the case, it's fine. I hope they have a splendid trip.
I do have to say, I respect that so much more. I mean, basically, I'm just repeating exactly what you said. I respect somebody so much more who is just like, no, those are the people that I like. That's who I'm bringing, or that's who I'm closer with.
Yeah, there's a very big difference between I'm inviting these people versus I'm not inviting these bitches. Like, those are two very big extremes. The one I can't respect, but that I very much can. Like, you live your best life. Like I said, it's like when you graduate high school, some people gravitate toward others. Does it mean I love or respect Janelle or Bailey or Devon any less? Absolutely not. There's nothing on my end, and that's how I'll put it. There's nothing. And if people claim there is, then you're not in my heart, you're not in my brain, you don't know my truth, and that doesn't matter to me.
No, and that's why I say I respect that so much more. I like people that are direct and honest. And again, people can like and not like who they don't want to like. And I prefer that much better than somebody that's like fake to your face and then stabbing you in the back. And again, before anybody comments, I'm talking about in the real world. I'm just so over like, Nicole went after her game. Yeah, it's a game with one winner, everybody. We get it. But I mean, like, in the real world.
If I didn't talk to everybody who told me one thing and stab me in the back, I wouldn't talk to anybody in the whole entire BB reality TV realm.
Or on this podcast, Podmaster. Don't worry.
Just looking outside the window. That was perfect timing.
There was a cricket outside the window. Okay. And I will say this. Tinkerbell Tina is saying Janelle did not tweet that. I have her notifications on. I don't know. The person didn't say when it was tweeted and somebody said Napa, it doesn't matter. Moving.
But regardless, whether it's like made up or not, whether it is a thing, like, whether I'm invited or not, like, yes, okay, like I love and respect her. There's no, I don't know. No, like, even if she didn't invite me, I would be like, oh, yeah, good. Like, people need to relax.
Yes. Okay. Oh my God. There was 2 more questions that I saw. I don't get Phoenix plays games says, I don't get why Enzo would vote to evict David when Nicole won a season and David was last due to the twist. I think Enzo explained it perfect on the feeds. He knew that any of them, but more specifically himself, sitting next to David going forward, the bigger threat is going to keep leaving, and they're going to keep dragging David to the end because they're going to feel he's a guaranteed win. He was like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm getting rid of David now because God forbid that I go up next to David. I'm leaving. Everyone else in the house is technically a bigger threat than me. So by getting out him, I'm also protecting myself. So
see, I would almost argue that's an after reasoning. Where, like, after you do it, like, I was smart to do that because I almost think in that moment, it's like, well, I don't want to piss off Cody because he's my guy. And if I annoy him by getting rid of Nicole, then he's not my guy. Then who do I have? I think in that moment, he was like, I'm close with Cody. This will keep me close with Cody. I'm close-ish to Nicole. This will make me closer to Nicole. Whereas David, no offense, if David stayed, I never really noticed like a bond between him and Enzo. So I think in that moment, it's like, do I pick somebody who's kind of up in the air, or do I pick somebody who's definitely close to Cody and close to me that at least I can get to final 3? So I do understand that mentality.
Well, I think that there is lots of mentality, lots of love, and lots of things to go around.
Yes. I do want to finish a thought because of the previous topic we were on. I see a lot of people in the chat. I'll take it from Moonstar saying, would you guys ever have Janelle on your show to hash things out? I personally don't think there's anything to hash out. I don't know what those terms. But yes, the invitation's always open. She's aware the invitation's always open. She knows we both adore her and would love to chat with her. We have in the past had her on the show. So yeah, I would like to have her on.
Can I just be honest to everyone? Can I be honest on behalf of what I think of my relationship of what I know of conversations I've had with Janelle, everyone?
Okay.
She's busy selling $1 million homes. She's making boatloads of money.
In her like orb of life.
She's not like, let me go.
It's like, what? Who? It's like Memphis. Would you want to be on the podcast?
Well, he might be able to because he'd let me finish a sentence. So, no, it's okay. You stole the joke, Nicole. This is why you're the podmaster. No,
go ahead. Have your moment. Moment.
It's gone. You stole it.
I just get a little defensive, you know?
You stole the moment. No, I just
like king and queen of BB. I'm getting pissed off over here.
That is exactly what I think it is. Like, everybody always looks for like to see Bruce. I'm like, guys, it's a different world. Like, Janelle is not in the same life situation that Nicole is or that I am. She has kids. She's been away from them for over a month. She's back to life, back to work. Where P.S.
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to start muting your microphone. I'm going to start right now. Where P.S.
Wait, am I muted?
She makes not muting you at all. While P.S. she makes millions of dollars as she sells. God damn it! I thought you were. Oh no! Here's the funny thing: you are muted to chat, but because we are connected in Skype, it's not muted to me. So you're
sorry.
You're still talking in my ear.
I'll take a minute. I'll take a seat.
Okay, you take a seat. I forgot what my point was. Oh, my point was, she's out there selling $1 million homes, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, enjoying time with her kids and her family. I don't think she's just like sitting around watching TV being like, do I do a podcast today? I think I'm going to purposely snub a podcast today. Do I want to? She's a working girl and she's making boatloads of money. I don't think she's...
Bombshell making boatloads.
Right. And that house is just, oh my God, I love her house. Anyway, that being said.
We need her help to find a house.
We do need her to find your house.
Wait, when you're a real estate agent, do you only sell like in your location or can you sell anywhere?
It's my life every day, everyone. I just hope you're all getting a glimpse into my life. And just so that you all understand, when the show ends, the question isn't going to stop. Like, here's what's going to happen. We're going to end the show and it's going to go upstairs. Nicole's she's going to go, no, but really, can Janelle only do in Minnesota? Or can she do it here in New York? Do you think she should want to? Maybe that's what we should talk about.
Thank you, Angie and Tampa in the chat. It's a state-by-state license. So it's like teaching. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you know what else exists? Google.
You're my Google.
I'm not your Google. She literally sat next to me. She was literally 1 inch away from me, everyone, earlier today. She starts asking me BB history facts to everyone that knows that I have no memory.
I was just trying to...
Well, I was busy working. She was working too, but she needed information on the BB history. And I literally told it to her, and then I closed out the wiki, and she's like, oh, but need it open. I have more questions. I'm like, you're sitting at a computer that has the same internet I do. Okay. I'm glad we're doing therapy now. Anyway.
I know. This is a topic for a podcast.
This is a topic for a podcast, and you know what else, Nicole?
Do we know HOH?
I do. I mean, I could make I don't know. I'm just going to guess the way I've guessed things all season and never been wrong, but I don't know. I have no way to know. How would I know? But here's the thing, Nicole.
Can I tell you my guess as well?
I also like to hold... Okay, go ahead. You tell me your guess.
My guess is Christmas won it.
Okay. So here's the thing, Nicole. Do you remember when I said I spent 1 million hours doing that comic book animation that I posted on TikTok?
Yes.
And there's more people in these shows than that have liked it. And that hurts my heart. And I want to hold it hostage. I literally want to be one of those people that go, if the views or likes go up, I'll tell you. But here's the thing. I'm not a dickbag. So, of course, I'm going to make a guess. However, I would appreciate if you would. Look, I don't ask people to ever do it. It's just I've never worked so long on something, and I'm really proud of it. And I tweeted the link out, and I'm going to steal Nicole's phone later and do it on our Insta story so we can have a swipe up link. But last chance, what's your final guess? Everybody guess in chat. I mean, it's really you have a 1 in 4 guess, but I want to see. A 1 in, you have a 1 in 3. Yeah, you have a 33.333%.
Right.
That's a guess.
I'm seeing Michelle saying Cody. I'm seeing Abby Love saying Cody. Stan Cody. Let's see. Anybody have any different? We have all Codys. Annie is saying Enzo. Angie in Tampa is saying Christmas. Lori is saying Cody.
I will say YouTube seems to be overwhelmingly Cody. Night of Light, Tinkerbell, Cherie. Ingrid over on Twitch says Cody. Sherry Blossom on YouTube, Cody. Debbie Dawn on Twitch. Chris
says Cody.
Cody.
I'm going with Dylan says Christmas.
Dylan
says Christmas.
I see Jenkins and you now says Enzo Diane Porter, but isn't it bad for Cody to win this one? Cass P says, man, against a Christmas win. Or Cheryl says, Cody. Wow. Every single person is saying Cody. Or one
I would say mostly Cody, couple Enzos, very rare for a Christmas. So that's my guess.
Okay. Well, if I was going to guess, I would say, yo. Yo.
It is what it is, yo.
It is what it is, yo.
That's it. It is what it is.
I can't really make a guess, everybody. It just is what it is. I can't tell
it.
you. I couldn't possibly tell you. All right? It is what it is. Yo, 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 yo. I mean, how do I have this information? I don't. So I'm just going to guess. And I'm going to guess Enzo.
That ain't it.
I mean, that ain't it. Oh, you mean he says that ain't it? Look, so any of you people think that Cody can handle a game of checkers? And look, this is saying something. I know I made the joke about Cody and Enzo before, but you know who's worse than Cody? Probably Christmas. Don't do steroids, kids. Allegedly, comedic recaps, that's a joke. Kills your brain cells. Here's the thing.
I think, Cody could probably really think ahead with that. I think Christmas could do it too. I think Enzo could do it. I don't know. Maybe we'll all be shocked and somehow Nicole's the winner. Better yet, Nicole A is the winner. I pop out of a bush and I won.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
my safety sweet pass. I'm like, here I am, bitches. I'm using it. Me and Keisha pop out of the bush with both of our safety sweet passes. Boom, final two.
Love it.
Keisha's one of my favorite people, by the way. Just putting it out there.
I know, I love Keisha. Look, everyone, we have had a super long extended show tonight. We loved having Kaysar here. We loved chatting with you. I honestly would love to keep this conversation going for another hour. However, my back is doing real bad things, and I don't know how much longer I can stay here. AKA warning, Nicole, I need help getting up the stairs. So I'm holding myself up with my elbows. So, we love all of you. We love all the support. Nicole, we really have some exciting people coming up the next few days. Why don't you tell everyone? And seriously, really exciting people. Or do you need me to do it?
No, I can do it. I just got
okay, so obviously tomorrow. I
want to pull the actual schedule so I give people time.
All right. Obviously tomorrow will be my exit interview with Memphis.
Yes.
And that'll be posting, I would say, anywhere between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. is usually when that gets posted. It is only, like I said, in the TV Co-op. However, I do tweet out the link to it, and you can watch the link on any website or anywhere you want. But there's a fun Big Brother community in the TV Co-op that you get to talk to other people. It's where Nicole and I post our exclusive content, or we do watch parties only in the TV Co-op. So it is fun to join and watch it there. But okay, so after tomorrow in the Memphis show, then here we have Saturday.
Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have Joel Lefebvre.
Yes.
Lefebvre from BB Canada.
Right.
Will be joining us.
Uh-huh.
And then on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we have Anne Heche joining us.
Oh, Anne Heche, previous lover of Ellen, currently on Dancing with the Stars, starting up her own podcast. And by the way, the Joel and Anne Heche shows are both going to be Hello Friends shows, obviously not Big Brother shows. Then
joining Anne is her bestie and podcast co-host, Heather. So we're excited to meet her as well.
Can I tell what Monday is?
You can.
So everyone, this is hot off the presses.
This is new. This is an update.
As you all may know, I may or may not have had a meltdown last night over that comic. Nicole knew that we were going to levels of an Eric tantrum that we have not been at before.
True.
So like the good friend that she is in real life, she might have reached out to said BB comic artist to try and right the wrongs of that comic book, which again is why I say you should check out that TikTok video. But in doing that, like when she was talking to him, I had the most genius, because I was getting all the DMs about like, Nicole's a villain. She's luring people in her comic book. And I'm like, I didn't take it that way. I took it this way. And I said to Nicole, you should ask him how he meant it. And then I was stuck with a bit of genius, Nicole. I went, oh my God, do you know what would be a great podcast? If we had the BB comic creator come on and tell us, how does he get the ideas for the comics that he does? How long does it take him to draw a comic? All of those things we're going to do as a Hello Friends podcast with him on Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. So I think that is going to be an amazing episode. Of course, Tuesday night, I will be live with Steve Moses, BB17 winner.
Yes.
For our live feed spoiler show. And then if you're like, oh my God, too much Big Brother, we had one whole day of Big Brother, then who do we have, Nicole?
On Wednesday at 6 p.m., joining us for Hello Friends is Todrick Hall.
Stop it. Todrick Hall, a.k.a. 1 degree of separation away from my Taylor Swift.
Yes.
For all the people...
He's so talented, like, I'm obsessed with him.
For all the people... I like when I say for all... This is like my biggest pet peeve is when people are like, oh my God, all the blah, blah, blah. And it's always 2 people. So, like, literally, this really is only 2 people. But I have to say this. To those 2 people that like to sometimes shade tweet me and be like, you're using Nicole, or Nicole's gonna dump you so fast when she realizes. Let me tell you, I'm fine with that for one reason, everyone, because she just got me 1 degree of separation away from Taylor Swift, and when me and Tay become best friends, this show is going to be like this. Nicole, who? Welcome to Taylor and Friends.
No!
Tea Time with Taylor sounds much better than Tea Time with Nicole. I'm sorry. So Todrick Hall on Wednesday.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm so excited. He's a huge Disney fan as well.
I know. He's my people. He's my people, Nicole. Us gays know everything about all our other gays.
I know, but I just wanted to share. So.
Well, that's not all. You need to infomercial it, but that's not all.
But first, there's more. What? But that's not all. Listen now, and we'll tell you more. Damn it.
Listen, Linda.
What's more? I tried. Thursday, kind of like today, after the live eviction, why am I yelling, at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to join us for our BB recap show is Matt Iceman.
Amazing. Matt Iceman, Ninja Warrior host. He's been on before. So look, that's it. I think we stop there. That's a week out. We don't need to go more than a week out. But we have amazing shows for you guys every single day for the next week. We hope that wherever you are watching this, you follow, subscribe, comment, that you share the shows. That is what allows us to keep creating all of this amazing content and bringing all these shows to you guys live so that you can interact with them live. So we really appreciate all the love and support. Of course, if you're listening back on your favorite podcast provider, a 5-star rating and a nice review is always appreciated. We really appreciate all the love and support that you guys have for the shows. It is what keeps them going. So thank you. We don't need your super chats or your somebody was like, do you have Venmo? Other shows ask us to donate via Venmo. Other shows are asking you to Venmo them. Just enjoy the show.
Like the old-fashioned PayPal.
I do have a PayPal. I do have a PayPal.
Here I come with the money dance. I am the podmaster.
Just enjoy the shows. And if you want to help support them, of course, sharing them, telling your friend, leaving a nice rating and review, putting them in groups or places where you think they'd be enjoyed. That means a lot to us. Do those things. We appreciate you guys so much.
So much.
Any final thoughts, Nicole?
I have a lot of final thoughts.
Well, really, I'm not interested unless it's your apology for not fighting harder to get me on that comic. So if it's not, I'm not really interested.
It's not. What it is this was a fabulous week, guys. We saw my BB comic. My record was not broken. Memphis got evicted by a Nicole. I am a Nicole. I Nicole telepathy to her. Life is good. Kaysar joined us for the show. Kaysar's amazing. Life is good.
So moral of your story is that life is good.
Life is good.
All right, everyone. That being said, we love all of you guys. We will see you all, like I said, tomorrow with the Memphis interview, which will be posted everywhere. And of course, I'll be doing a hangout show tomorrow night. So we will see you guys all for that. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Bye, guys.